Some say if you're lucky enough to survive a near-death experience, you should probably buy a lottery ticket. Australian Bill Morgan would tell you that's smart advice. This unlikely story begins in a car, when a mundane commute becomes anything but.
Suddenly, his check engine light comes on, which we all know is not a good time. So he's already thinking he's got to get home, try to diagnose what's going on with his car.
He begins to feel sick and dizzy. He's actually having a heart attack while he's driving. He ends up passing out and getting into a bad accident. The paramedics arrive and find him. They determine that he's had a heart attack and they start administering treatment.
A very small percentage of people are allergic to the standard medications that are given by paramedics during a heart attack scenario. Bill is one of them, but he's unconscious. He's not able to tell the paramedics about this allergy. Bill's heart stops for 14 minutes, which is an unbelievable length of time. Usually, medical personnel give up after 7 minutes, but they keep fighting for Bill's life for another 7 minutes, and they are able to restart his heart.
The bad news, however, is that's all the doctors are able to do. While he has a heartbeat, Bill's in a deep coma.
After 12 days, his family is faced with the agonizing decision of whether to keep him alive in a brain-damaged state or to allow him to die.
As the family weighs the choice, they're approached by a specialist who offers a long-shot experimental treatment. Despite the low chance of recovery, the family agrees to try.
Bill is transferred to a new hospital. The specialist applies the therapy, and now the waiting begins.
For 15 days, nothing happens. No sign of life.
But then, miraculously, he wakes up. Even more miraculously, his cognition is normal.
He recovers in the hospital and goes home.
Bill must feel an appreciation for life. Although he has suffered a heart attack, an allergic reaction, and a coma, he is basically able to pick up right where he left off.
He even continues his daily routine of buying a scratch-off.
A year later, he wins a brand new car, a Toyota Corolla worth $30,000. What a win for our man Bill.
Bill Morgan thought his luck had run out last year.
Bill's lucky break earns attention from a local news channel, which sends a crew to do a story about the coma-surviving lottery winner.
As they're putting this news story together, they ask Bill to recreate his winning lotto ticket. And he says, well, why don't I just buy another scratch-off and scratch it off in front of you? What happens next truly defies the odds.
I just won 250,000. I'm not joking.
You're not, are you?
I just won 250,000.
After the second win, Bill calls his wife, gives her the delightful news they can buy a second house. He retires early, and he enjoys what he calls his bonus years. What a wonderful way to frame your life.
Bill beat incredible odds by surviving clinical death and a coma. But winning the lottery twice as well? I'd call that unbelievable. Never is it more obvious that the odds are against you than when you play the lottery. But if you're one of the hundreds of millions of Americans who buys lottery tickets each year, you may find this next story oddly encouraging.
It's 2012, and Virginia Fike stops by the Old Stone truck stop to buy her lotto ticket. They say that the odds of winning the lottery are 1 in hundreds of millions. You have better chances of getting struck by lightning. But Virginia knows this. She doesn't care. It's just for fun.
When people play the lottery, they often have a system. They pull numbers from life events, birthdays, meaningful dates, that kind of thing, even though playing the lottery is extremely random. Virginia chooses her lottery numbers based on her parents' anniversary, their ages at the time, and the year they were married.
On this day in 2012, Virginia orders her lotto tickets and the clerk mishears her. Instead of giving her 1 lotto ticket, he gives her 2 lottery tickets with the identical number selection. Rather than correct the clerk, Virginia goes, "It's just an extra $1. Who cares? Let's let it ride."
Unbelievably, this very specific combination of dates matches the lotto drawing, and it's worth $1 million.
But that's not the most interesting part of this story. Virginia has 2 tickets with the exact same number. They both win, and she doubled her prize.
I mean, think about what the odds are just of winning the lottery once. It's against all odds that she's winning twice in one day on a ticket that was an error.
Virginia's winning numbers might have been a very lucky coincidence. That is, if you believe in coincidence. In the 1960s, one scientist convinced himself that with some careful observation, he could take the luck out of lucky numbers and bring casinos to their knees.
Dr. Richard Jarecki, a physician and a researcher, is one of those people that believes that if one applies scientific observations towards any problem, a scientific solution can be derived.
In the early 1960s, Dr. Jarecki uses this theory to take the chance out of games of chance.
He looks at casinos, he breaks them down into 2 parts, controls and variables. Poker and blackjack have human components. Card decks get switched out, dice are changed, so there's no real way to control those variables.
But there's one game he notices that has the fewest number of variables, and it's roulette. Jarecki realizes that the longer a roulette wheel is put in service, the more likely it is to develop nicks and dents and scratches, things that will force the ball to fall on certain numbers with greater frequency.
Before ever placing a bet, Jarecki and his wife watch thousands of spins at different roulette wheels and painstakingly write down the results.
He finds at one table, the number 33 comes up 3 to 5 times every 35 spins, way outside the normal pattern.
He also notices that one wheel in Monaco is prone toward a certain set of numbers: 7, 8, 9, 17, 18, 19, 22, 28, and 29.
So in 1964, Dr. Jarecki makes his way to a casino in Monaco. He's got $100 with him. He sits down at a table that he's very familiar with. He knows this roulette wheel. And he starts making bets. And he starts winning. And winning. And winning.
The meticulous studying is paying off. He turns his initial $100 into $5,000. And that's just the beginning.
One casino in particular, in a place called San Remo, becomes Dr. Jarecki's favorite. The tables in there are a little bit older, and he finds some exploitable biases that he can use to his advantage.
One night he walks out with $42,000, another night with $158,000. He comes back 8 months later and wins $192,000 over a weekend.
That's not exactly a typical outcome for roulette players, and the casino owners aren't happy. Adding insult to injury, crowds start applauding Jarecki as he plays.
The owners are forced to ban Jarecki for 2 weeks so they can recoup their losses and stay in business.
Dr. Jarecki returns, he wins over $100,000, and he says if the casino owners don't like losing money, they should get a new job selling vegetables.
The casinos are desperate to figure out his method, but when asked by the press, the doctor isn't exactly forthcoming.
He invents a story. He calculated odds using a supercomputer at the University of London, but the truth is more unbelievable than the cover story. Supercomputers at that time cannot accomplish what Dr. Jarecki is doing using his powers of observation and a paper and pencil.
Eventually, the casino owners discover the source of his success. And so they spend a lot of money to replace these old rickety roulette wheels. But it's a lot less money than what they were losing when they had the old ones that he could predict.
All told, Dr. Richard Jarecki made an estimated $8 million in today's dollars at the roulette table. If he'd tried this method in Vegas, he might be sleeping with the fishes.